Hi, I'm Melody. Welcome to my channel, Making Melody Crafts. Today we're going to be making a lattice edge card like this, and in this case it's going to be a graduation card, but it could be for any occasion you want. So let's get started. This card's a 5x7. I typically do like to make a 5x7 card, and this one's already been folded, scored and folded. And then what you're going to do is, there's a template for this, but if you don't have it, you don't need it, because I can show you how to do it without it. You're going to measure 1 inch in, make a mark, at the top, make a mark at the bottom, and with your ruler, make a line. And once you do that, it'll look like this. So that's the next step. Now, all the way down this line, you're going to want to make quarter inch marks all the way down that line. And you're going to want to make a 1/4 inch little tick mark on this side too. And we are working on the folded side of the card, not on the open side. So over here on the folded side. And I got this idea to make a card like this with this lattice edge from Lindsay Wyrick, the Frugal Crafters. So please check out her channel if you haven't already. I'm going to start with this line right here, and then every 1/4 inch make that mark. Let's see, here we go. It helps if you have a ruler where those measurements are really clear, where the 1/4 inch is and your 1/2 inch and all of that. It'll just make it much easier. I'm going to go ahead and do that and then come right back when I'm further down the card. Alright, so now we've got a mark every 1/4 inch on the folded side and every 1/4 inch on that line that is 1 inch in from the edge of your card. Now for the next part, I'll start it off again and then I'll finish it up so you don't have to be bored to tears. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit for you for this next part, because otherwise it's going to be kind of difficult to see it. That is my dog, you can hear. Alright, so that's pretty good. And now let's get started with this part, with the rest of it. So about 3/4 inch down is where we're going to go for our first line. So you're going to be drawing a line from this edge, from the folded edge, over here to that 1 inch line in. So get your ruler lined up with the very corner of the card, and you want to go to that 3rd mark down. So when you do this, you could actually start and just measure down 3/4 inch for this first mark, but I just like to do all of them. It's just kind of how I do it. That looks good right there. Not quite on there. There we go. So you want to be right on that line and make that mark. And now I'm going to keep going all the way down and do that. So the next line is going to match up with the second line here. Right there to right there. And I'm going to do that all the way down. I'll show you one more. And then through the magic of videotaping, I'll come back and show it to you already done. And that for that step at least. So we're going to keep doing that all the way down. So make those marks all the way down and I'll be right back. Alright, so I made all of those marks going all of the way down. So these are all pencil marks. When you do this at home, yourself, don't make them as dark as I did. I just did that so that you can see them easily on the camera, but you're going to want to make them, you're going to want to make them light. And it's nice to have, a ruler that has those marks really clear, the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch really clear, so that it just makes it easier for you to do it. Okay, now the next step that we're going to do is we're going to be cutting these, and you're going to make little cuts all along the way. So you could use a larger pair of scissors, but you need a pair of scissors that has more of a, sharp point on the edge. So something like these. And this is a different thumb sweater that I have on today, kind of like my summertime thumb sweater. So I like it. It's pretty neat. And so with the card folded, you're going to go ahead and keep that folded. Go down to your first mark, which should be about 3/4 inch down. Go ahead and cut there, right on that line. And of course, I'll be erasing these lines, but like I said, when you do it, you definitely want to make those marks lightly. So you can cut that first part right away. That's still in there a little bit. So let's get back in there a little bit better. Oh, there we go. Okay. So that's how that'll look. So you cut that away, and you can do the same thing at the top, or you can wait until you get there. Now, so the next step is I'm going to sit down here so I stop making you dizzy by moving that all over the place while I'm standing. Sorry about that. So next time you see, I'm gonna have all of these cut all the way down, and so each of these little 1/4 inch pieces will be separate. So you just cut right up to the line. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one and then finish them and come right back. So cut up to this line, do not cut down that line, of course. So I'll do one more, just, you know, kind of hold that closed there so it doesn't move on you or shift on you, and make sure you're right up to that line. It's gonna make a difference, and I'll show you that, in a little bit. All right, so we finished cutting all of those spots there, 1/4 inch, in 1/4 inch increments all the way down until we got here to the bottom. So I saved this one for last just so you can see this part. So this is the side that had all the pencil lines on it. I erased most of those. When you come to the end, then this part here will just be cut right off. So this little triangle here, and that would have been about 3 marks up, you know, 3 little tick marks up there. So that's about 3/4 of an inch in. So at this point, this is what you should have. It should look something like that. And I already erased this, but sometimes when I've made this card, I've made this type of card many times before, when you're erasing, don't do this on this part, obviously, because that will mess that up. So yeah, I've done that more than once. So you're gonna wanna erase kind of at an angle like that, and then get off all those pencil lines. Why, obviously, you know, if you're doing this at home, just make the pencil lines lighter and you'll have an easier time taking care of that. All right, so that's all set. And then the next part that we're gonna do is we're gonna do the folding. So open the card back up, and so it should look like this. One side should be an arrow. I'm gonna zoom back out a little bit to make this a little bit easier for you to see. And there we go. I'm gonna do that slowly. So now one side will be the point and one side will be like this. All right, so we're gonna start folding it now in this part, and you want the arrow facing away from you. I'm standing on this side, so you want that arrow facing away from you, and then we're gonna start the folding. So this first one here, you can fold that down like that, and that's what that's gonna look like. It's kind of like a diamond shape right now. So skip this one, go to your next one. If you have nails, it'll actually help to kind of like get underneath a piece of paper. My nails are pretty short, but that will really help you if you do. So this is what we've got so far. So you fold the first one, then skip, fold the next one, skip, and on and on. So as you're doing that, just, you know, be a little bit careful. And as you fold these, just kind of coax that paper down, and that shouldn't be a problem. And that's what that'll start to look like. So when you get that all done, now you'll have it looking like that. So I got one already done here, just in the interest of time. And now we're ready to decorate it. So that's your lattice edge. It's pretty cool, right? Isn't it pretty? I just love it. And now I'm gonna grab some scrap paper and we'll start decorating the card itself. So hopefully I explained that well, and again, that's what you've got, and then you close it. When you do close it, I'll go ahead and include this, and who knows, maybe we'll edit it out. But when you do close this card, it's going to take, you know, a little bit of work. So once you get all of these folded, that paper, you know, wasn't folded in that way before. So what I tend to like to do is, so I have it like this. When you're ready to flip it over and fold it, you're going to want to have keep something here, a ruler or just something with a nice edge, and hold that there, and then kind of coax the paper over until it folds for you. So that'll take a little bit, but yeah, then it'll look like that. So I hope I explained that well. I didn't want to do that whole thing on camera and just bore you to tears. So the stamp that we're going to be using is this one, and I don't remember right now where I got this, but anything like this with lines would work for the look I'm trying to go for. The color that I'm going to be using is Bamboo Leaves, and this is Memento ink. It's from this set. I bought this at Michael's with a half-off coupon, and it was $11 regularly, and then had a half-off coupon, so, you know, like $5.50. And I really love the Bamboo Leaves color, and all of those colors go together, so that's kind of nice. Then what I'm doing with this stamp is I'm not going to use it in the usual way. You know, a lot of your stamps can be used in many different ways. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink up the lines. That's all I want. And I'm not going to bother putting it on a stamp block in this case. I'm just going to go ahead and get it to the paper. So let's see here. Yeah, this is kind of the look that I'm going for. Again, I want to create a frame around that card. I know you probably can't see that right now. It's really faint going down there. We're going to have to re-ink that a little bit, but that's what that looks like. So I'm going to re-ink it, and I have another one that's already been done, but I'll do this a little bit more just so you get the idea. And hopefully I explained that other part. Let's just do it this way. Hopefully I explained that other part well with the folding. I'm trying to be respectful of your time, but still show you how to make this card. I think it's just so neat, so pretty, and yeah, it's a cool effect. Now for this side here, I'm going to go ahead and use something that will keep me from inking up the actual lattice part. But if you don't care and you like how that looks, then go right ahead. Just, you know, stamp right up to there. So again, we're just going to get this inked up, and these are just the little, you know, teardrop shape or dewdrop shape ones. And this is dye ink that I'm using. So that's the idea there. So in the interest of time, this one is done for that part. All right, so now that is all folded like that. So that's what that looks like, already done. And so this was pointing away, and then when you're finished, these lines will be pointing towards you. To fold it, the paper was going in the other direction, so you're going to kind of have to, you know, gently train it to go in the direction you want. So if you just have something that, you know, you can put some pressure on there without ripping it, then go ahead and do that. Flip it over, keep it open the way you had it, flip it over, and then I like to just put a ruler on the inside and then slowly coax that paper over, because it's kind of going to, you know, need to fold this way now. Okay, so that's pretty good. And then gently, and you'll see if there's any of these that aren't like going in the right direction and that sort of thing, or, you know, that get twisted up or something. You'll be able to fix that. So that is how that looks now. And then on this other side, I already started decorating the card, and I used this stamp, and we just went along the edge. So I'll do that a little bit here so that you can see. I'll do it a little bit more. And again, this ink is the Memento ink, and the color, once again, is Bamboo Leaves. So get that all inked up just on that edge. And I'm using the edge of this stamp. If you have this stamp, obviously I could use this side, but this just has a bigger surface area, and that's kind of what I'm going for. And then I'm just going to kind of touch around here until I get what I want with that, until I get the look I want, and then protect that edge if you don't want any ink on there. So I'm just looking to see that little frame around the card so that my focal point will be right there in the middle. Okay, and let's get this side a little bit better here. That's good, and now we're ready to go on to the next part. So I'm just going to give that a quick wipe with my baby wipe so that ink doesn't dry on there. And now on to the next step. And the design that I want in the middle, this is a PSX stamp from 1995. So using a vintage stamp, and I've had this stamp since 1995. I just absolutely love it. This one is called the Hybrid Rose. I keep these in a binder, and this is what it looks like. So let's go ahead and get that on a stamp block, and we'll stamp it down there on the front. Yeah, it's such a fun design, and there's so much you can do with that stamp. All right, and that is a rubber stamp, and I just peeled it off of the wooden block. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm just going to do the whole thing in green, and then in a few areas I'm going to kind of grab a slightly darker color there, the Cottage Ivy, and put that on some of the areas too, just to give it a little more, make it a little more interesting, maybe look a little more natural. But we're just going to stick with the green. I've colored this before. There's so many things to do with this. So now I'm just kind of going in and trying to get the little leaves in here and give them a little bit more color with the darker green. There we go. That should be good. And let's see. I'll kind of breathe on that, and we should be all right. There we go. Hold that for a little bit and just let that ink transfer onto your paper. I'm going to kind of push down on that so I know that it really went through. I didn't get a very good impression. That's what I've got so far. So I'm going to stamp that again, and I'll be right back. All right, since that image didn't come out very clearly, it didn't come out very well, I probably just needed to hold the stamp on there a little bit longer because that stamp is in great condition. But I chose to go with my Prismacolor colored pencils, and this one is olive green, so I have these kind of swatched out, and that's pretty close to what I want. I'm going to go over this and just kind of darken up the areas where, you know, it didn't stamp so well. So really lightly I'm going over this. You know, any colored pencils that you would have are fine. Use whatever you have. And I'm going to keep doing that and then come back in a little bit. I can very faintly see the lines here. And I also have the one that I stamped for the way I store them. Just a little like a sample of what the stamp looks like so I know when I store them. And I'm just going to kind of keep doing that. And then I'll be right back and it should look a lot better. Alright, so since my ink was kind of running low, so I was, you know, running out of this ink, it's almost dry, I went over that with a colored pencil there. That was the olive green PC 911. So, you know, anything that you have close to whatever you were using can work. So that's a little bit better now. I like that. And now we're going to get on our sentiments. So I'm going to do Happy Graduation. This is an old Stampin' Up! Stamp from the 90s, I believe. And I'm going to get that right here at the top. Hold that for a little bit, let that transfer. And there we have that. And then this is a congrats, and this stamp is from Hampton Arts. It's pretty cute. And now the green ink that I'm using is my Dilutions, the Permanent Mixed Media Ink Palette. And I don't remember what this color is called. It might be Dirty Martini. It doesn't say on the front, it says on the back. So let's get that congrats down there at the bottom. That'll be cute. And there we go. That's our card. So that's a lattice edge card, and you can obviously decorate that how you want. I'm not gonna do anything extra on the inside, but that is our card. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share on social media if you'd be so kind, and subscribe. That really helps me out, and subscribing doesn't cost a thing. All right, I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you later.